What separates a good photographer from a truly remarkable one? Today, we're going to talk about literally getting into your head and getting into yourself and unlocking really the magic of photography. We're talking about your photography superpowers today. And our photography superpowers, they come They come from pretty amazing places. Imagine capturing breathtaking moments that leave everybody in awe. Photography we're looking at right now is from a photographer named Paulina Washington. And when it comes to photography superpowers, the first thing I think that's the most important thing when it comes to our photography superpowers is showing up. Consistency and accountability. Welcome, everybody, to a very warm Toronto. I am coming to you live from Queen Street, and it is warm. Today we're talking about unlocking your photography superpowers, and how we do that is by going through, I think we'll call it five amazing habits. And these habits are, I would say, essential to transforming yourself from someone who is what you'd call a good photographer to somebody who is truly doing something that is extraordinary. So the first thing I believe that is super important when it comes to our photography is consistency. Consistency is shooting as often as you can. In fact, if you can shoot every day, there's doctors that have revealed that taking pictures every day and sharing them with others actually improves your self-care. Every time we do something different with our photography, it develops a new habit. And I feel like photography encourages this interaction, the interaction that I'm doing with you guys right now. I love the show and tell. I love sharing amazing photography and amazing photographers with you. But you can imagine the consistency that I have going with the podcast is also the consistency that I'm trying to maintain when it comes to my photography. Shooting every day is an amazing way to just remind you about why you actually do photography in the first place. It really reminds you about that love of photography. And it also gives you like a new perspective of the world. As we're zooming through some Behance profiles, just think about the interaction that photography gives us. Think about how every photo that we take tells a different story. Every photo that we take gives our viewers just a little bit more of an insight into us. When we're shooting every day, it actually keeps our brain in good shape. As we get older, as photographers like me, I need to keep my brain in good shape. Photography is a great exercise. For me, I mean, it's my career. But I know that photography keeps me highly cognitive. And it also makes my memory better. I find when I'm not shooting photos, I forget things. But I do have a photographic memory for faces. So as long as I keep shooting portraits, everything's beautiful. I really love this story that I'm sharing with you right now. I pulled together some amazing stories as I inspire you today. And also, my God, photography helps us get our bodies moving. We got to get out there when we shoot and know that each time we're outside with our camera, we're actually exercising. We kind of forget that because we're so in the pocket of our creativity, but we're actually exercising. We're actually moving our feet. We're expelling categories. We're expelling calories. And it's like a mood stimulant. So habit one, unequivocally, is try to shoot every day. If you can, try to get out there, move your body, and shoot every day. It's such an amazing mood stimulant. And if you're busy, schedule time to shoot photographs. I love this story. Photography also, it gives us a sense of direction. Like, that's the thing that many photographers, I find, they lack direction. They just shoot randomly. But later on, with some of these positive habits I'm going to get into, you'll realize that the direction that you can get just from having themes, having a purpose, using one lens, using limitation. There's so many things that you can do in order to give yourself a sense of direction. And through the pandemic, people were like scared and there was uncertainty. And as we get back into regularity, we can use photography to ease us out of those negative thoughts and that daunting headspace that we were in during that time. We can actually look forward to photographing. We can actually look forward to making art and thinking about what we're going to shoot next. Photography allows us to actually enjoy each moment. It encourages positivity, and it really gets us excited for the next day that we go out and shoot new photos. So I touched earlier a little bit about accountability, and know that when it comes to accountability, we need a way to be accountable when it comes to shooting every day. Now, what I do is I have a blog, and this blog I post to weekly, and I'm happy to say I've been posting to this blog weekly for 5 months, which is 20 weeks in a row. Now, posting to something and having an audience of people who are expecting it and keeping that going for so long is a great way to stay consistent. It's a great way to keep your accountability going. And I don't know if you guys remember, when I was first starting my Substack, I said this is going to turn into an online magazine. It's going to turn into something that really looks special. And after 5 months of working on it, I'm proud to say that this platform has actually helped me with my accountability. And if you guys aren't blogging, or you're not doing something like this related to your photography regularly, starting a blog, starting a Substack, starting a mailing list, and corresponding to people who are opting in is a no-brainer. It's like making a pact with your viewers to continually produce content because you have an audience of people who are waiting for it. It's almost like having an accountability partner. And you guys who are watching right now, Julie and Vicky and Sam McCrae and Warbucks, all of you who might not be typing into chat, everybody who's watching, you guys are my accountability partners. You guys are the ones that I'm accountable to, and I create this content for you regularly so you have someone to connect to, someone to answer questions for, and also it just makes you guys part of this amazing Cardi Crew family and part of the photography community family in general, which I think is kind of beautiful. So all of that is like habit number one, which is every day. Like, do this every day. And that consistency and using accountability to keep you shooting every day is genius. And all the benefits that I went through as far as why you should do that is all more the reason. Okay, so number 2 is using themes and revisiting ideas. I've talked much about the self-directed project and how if you're using a theme or if you're choosing an idea like you're shooting bugs or you're shooting mountains like Sam does, or you're shooting through the park like Julie has been, or you're shooting in your yard like Vicky has been. These themes are reoccurring things that we can do over and over again, and that's things that we can go to when we're not sure what to shoot. These reoccurring themes can also be part of larger self-directed projects. As we look at the photography here of a shooter who's named, let me find this gentleman's name. This gentleman is Jan Erik Wader. And Jan is using winter themes and ice as a theme. And it's something that's an ongoing project. And when you look through this body of work and subsequently see how he's putting this work in books, in frames, it's an ongoing body of work that he can shoot whenever there's ice. He can shoot it from any scale, from the air all the way down to a macro level, and he can show all this work together. I really feel like this series and looking at this series framed, let me just look at this last picture here so you can see what it looks like framed. Looking at this last series and this mock-up, it's a great way to like just encourage you to stay with it. Also, when you're working with themes and when you're working with like repeating, recurring things, you're able to like hide almost like hidden gems in your photographs, like hidden little magic things. This is such a great story. This photographer named Magali Polvarino. This photographer, this is an ode to meringue. An ode to meringue. And just how this shooter is taking one thing, which is meringue, and having fun with it and photographing it in so many different ways. An ode to meringue. Like, how funny. Let me find one more. When you revisit themes, here's another amazing one. Oh my God, this photographer, Daryl Rea. This photographer revisits themes often. I love this shooter's work. Gotta close some tabs here. And when I show you how this photographer revisits this black and white clouds and sun bursting through, it's really beautiful. When you look at other projects from this photographer, he's an illustrator. He's a digital artist, but you can see that he revisits this theme often. And I've shown the work of Daryl Rea before and his black and white monochromatic beauty. I really like that photographer. So know that when you're using your themes and you're revealing like hidden mysteries within your photographs, it just like makes you excited about making them. And it also, when you put these themes together, those themes end up being self-directed projects. They end up being bodies of work. They end up being prints, exhibitions, books, and it's kind of a no-brainer. Now, how you start to pull this all together is habit number 3, which is trying to improve one thing every time you go out. Now, think about progress. Every time you go out, you try to aim on improving one thing. Now, I attempted and I'm attempting to be better at street photography. And the type of street photography that I'm showing you, I got to tell you, like, the street photography that I look at is so high end, from Alan Schaller to, oh my god, there's so many incredible street photographers that I've shown, but I'm using Substack to go out and create street photography that is outside of my wheelhouse. It's not the type of photography that I would normally make. It's not the type of photography that I would normally shoot. And really, it's pushing me into new areas of work, into new areas of photography, and I know by no means am I a top of the line, best in the world street photographer, but I'm practicing. And I'm practicing in a way that there's no consequence. I'm shooting this work just for me. So trying to improve just one thing every time you go out and make photographs is kind of the smart money, you know? And I'm using a skill based approach when it comes to this. I'm going out, I'm using one lens, and I'm trying to use themes like color, like people, like architecture, like light, like shooting at night, and just using limitations in order to really get something unique and really get something special, you know? And by the way, we all know that this is a journey. This is a journey of improvement. This whole photography thing. It's like every time you go out, you get better. Every time you show up and try to shoot photographs, you get better. Every time I went out, I realized, like, I really loved shooting through glass. I really loved shooting reflections. And as I continue to go out and as I continue to do street photography, I realized that this is one of those things that the world looks actually quite interesting through a reflection. I also continue my themes with graffiti. I continue my themes with shooting street portraits, trying to chase beautiful light. But I fail. I fail at this every time I go out. But yet, trying to improve just one thing every time I go out and showing my incremental progress, I think it really leads to a nice story. Yeah, it's nice, and it's easy to compare your past outings with current stuff when you do it this way. Another thing you hear me talk about so often is putting yourself outside your comfort zone. And for habit 4, honestly, putting yourself outside your comfort zone, it's kind of genius. This is a photographer named help.Thank, and she is self-conscious about her curves and her belly rolls. So she's doing a project documenting herself and documenting her belly rolls and really putting herself out there and putting herself outside her comfort zone. In fact, revealing her most insecure parts of her body. I think it's really beautiful. And if you look at her other work, it looks very much like she spends time shooting other professional models. So she's always possibly comparing herself. Possibly she's comparing herself regularly to what these beautiful models look like that she photographs. We also have to challenge our viewers to expect the unexpected and the unconventional. You know, anytime that you feel with your photography that you're being safe, anytime that you feel like you're not pushing hard enough, maybe it's time to not be safe. Maybe it's time to push yourself a little bit further outside your a comfort zone. You know, there was a time when I think it was a couple of years ago when I first started this podcast, I challenged you to show a body part. I challenged you to photograph a body part of yourself that would reveal just a little bit something new of yourself. And to prove that I also was not asking you to do something that I wasn't willing to do, I also shot a self-portrait of myself with nothing but my Hasselblad. So putting yourself outside your comfort zone and creating these like thrilling photography adventures are things that just like, it unlocks your photography superpower, you know? And that leads us to habit number 5, which is putting yourself into a new area. This photograph is such a beautiful non-composite but actual photograph. Maybe it has some composite elements. I'm sure it has composite elements, but putting yourself in a new area, it allows you to broaden your horizons. You're able to get away from capturing the same familiar scenes, and you reap all the benefits from seeing a new thing. So get yourself out of where you are all the time. Look at something new, and I'm telling you, it's like, if you want to re-inspire yourself and unlock your photography superpower, all you need to do is change where you are right now. Go into a new area. I mean, if you live in a city, a hustling, bustling city, go to the country. Find some greenery. Go to a place of solitude. And if you live in a place of solitude, maybe take a trip to a big city. Maybe see the hustle and bustle, the people, the faces, the shapes. I think that these 5 habits are the ways forward when it comes to unlocking your photography superpowers. Consistency and accountability. Photographing every day is super important. Having some sort of a pact like I have with you, and also the people on my mailing list, which also might be you. Consistently saying that you're going to do something and then doing it. It's amazing. Have an accountability partner is another way that you can keep yourself to shooting every day. Using themes and revisiting ideas is a super genius way to not only build self-directed projects, but also connect with your audience in a way that makes them feel like they're included in something special. It's a great way to create books. It's a great way to create exhibitions. It's a great way to create new. Also, trying to improve one new thing every time you go out is genius. That's what I've been trying to do with my street photography. Sometimes I do it, sometimes I fail, but I go out every time and I try to make new photographs, and I try to bring you along the way on this journey, because sometimes I go out and I get nothing. But just going out there and having that skill building approach really is helping me, I think, grow as a street photographer. And I know that I'm on that journey of improvement. And another thing that I think is super important is putting yourself outside your comfort zone. I showed an incredible story of a woman who is showing her rolls and her wrinkles and her flaws because she doesn't feel like she likes her torso. So she's putting it out there and capturing it in an artistic way. And I think that putting yourself outside your comfort zone is just one way to unlock your photography superpowers. And the last way that we talked about is changing your scenarios, changing your environment, changing your scene, changing the area that you're in. Get on a train, get on a plane, get in an automobile, drive someplace new. I'm guaranteeing you, changing what you see every day is a way that you can unlock your photography superpower. Guys, you know that many of these things you've tried already, and you know that they work. You know that they help you get your photography into the next level. I'm going to look at some photography because I have an amazing community of viewers. Many have been watching for years. By the way, Jared, thanks for tuning in. I'm happy you popped in, my guy. Many of them shoot with this camera right here, which is the Kodak Brownie. I am just kidding. Let's get into your favorite part of the show, which we call real photo reviews. All right. My brother, Leslie, has photographed this, what looks like a locust. This is incredible, brother. Incredible. There seems to be a little bit of camera shake, which is happening on camera left. There seems to be like a little bit of shake that's happening in here, but the focus that you have in here is brilliant. Should be really happy with this. It also looks like a ghost, like this color. It's the same color as the rocks. I always thought that they were green, but that looks very much like a locust. But very great. And I love the offset composition, Les. That makes it super strong. Your gutter is here, so you have lots of space here and good space here between here and room for the writing. This is a great one, my brother. You should be very, very happy with this photo. Very happy, my guy. That's a great start, Les. Let's go. All right, let's get into our next submission, which comes from all the way from France. Our friend, we know him as HD. I know him as Hervé. HD says his little participation, and he is coming in tough with these portraits. Hervé, this is really, really strong. I like this very much, very much. Let's look at this as a cover. Hervé, this is really strong. You should be really thrilled with this picture. Digital Rearranged, welcome, my guy. I'm glad you're here. This is a great cover, Hervé. You can see your headspace. Because you've already pre-cropped it, this is like a 4:5 proportion. You are just a little bit close here if you were going to have a masthead. So I would want to give just a little bit more headspace here. All the other space is great. I'm just being critical because of how it would look as a magazine cover. As a single photograph, as a print, it's gorgeous. You have a white background here and a white t-shirt. You have great detail. You have really nice texture in the skin, which I like very much. Zooming in and seeing like your treatment, the look and feeling, like I love a lot. This is a fantastic photo. Fantastic. I'm actually very thrilled with this picture, Hervé. You should be very thrilled as well. That's Hervé's first photo. Wow, that's coming in hot. Coming in hot. Let's look at Hervé's second photo. And again, this one doesn't disappoint either. Look at this photo right here. What a great shot. Look at the focus. He's got a really beautiful texture, a really beautiful grain. Look at this as a cover. This is an amazing, amazing, amazing shot. You should be absolutely thrilled with this photograph, Hervé. absolutely thrilled. This is, again, another banger. What do you say to that? This is absolutely great. Great, 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 great. Um, I have nothing to say, but like that's perfect. More of that photography from you, Hervé. More of that. One of our favorites, we like to call her Julie. Julie says some Italian vibes. A few photos from a recent photo. You guys, by the way, are all my favorites. I don't play favorites. Julie's one of my favorites only because she's watched literally every single episode since I started this. So Julie says some Italian vibes. A few photos from my recent portrait session. These aren't client pics, so I'll share some more later. Shot with the 6D and a 50 1.8. New work from Julie. Julie, this is very clean. Very clean. I'm impressed with how even the light is. Very even light. You have to watch a little bit in the chin. There seems to be a little bit of like bumpy happening in here, but I think that that's just a little bit of speedy retouching on Julie's part. I really, really like this, Julie. You should be thrilled. Let's look at it as a cover. Let's look at this as a cover. Julie hasn't cropped this yet. This is the full image. It looks great as a cover, Julie, and you have room to make this an 8x10. I also like the leaning on the wood. It gives it like a nice editorial feeling. You have to watch the horizon line. The horizon line's dropping right through her head a little bit here. You could lower yourself to drop the horizon line a little bit here, or you could raise yourself to drop the horizon line a little bit higher. That's the only thing that I noticed that's a little distracting, Julie, is that. But other than that, like, this is a fantastic photo. I like it very much. Very much. Let's look at more from Ms. Lagovska. Number 2. This is a great capture, Julie. You fixed all the distractions that I was talking about earlier. I really like how you're molding the girl's face, and this is a pose recreation that you've done before. The centering is good in between here. I like the tree up in here. This little tent over here is a little distracting. I wouldn't mind not seeing this back here, but it doesn't bother me. I really like the light on her face. You have really beautiful open shade light. This is a good one, Julie. I like this one too. Again, I'm a critic with you because I know what you're capable of. I know how great your photography is and how great your photography can be. But I'm always watching. This is another great one. It's a little bit about her expression here, Julie. I'm not sure about the way that she's pitching the corners of her mouth. I kind of like her hair blowing around a little bit more. This one where her hair's tamed, it's almost like I'd like to have her hair like pushed over that side on one side or brought into the front. A little bit of a hard shadow here. Yeah, it's just her expression, Julie, and where you're dropping the horizon through her head. This one for me is not my fave, also because it's just a bit schoolgirl pose, but not schoolgirl like outfit, but then her mouth. That one's not my favorite of all of them. This one's much stronger. You can see how much more confident she is here in this picture. This one works as a cover. Yeah, this is a lot stronger, Julie. And also the way that you're hiding the horizon line. But I do see this chair pushing through here. And I wonder if that was just sand the same way over here. And if over here was just sand the way that it is here. But again, still, Julie, this is a really strong picture. And the way that the light's hitting her face in this very minimal shadow here, it's a lot more flattering than it is the other photos. If I had to choose my favorites, I would say these two. This one I would say is my favorite. Then this one. And then this one. I think that you could find a replacement for this photo, Julie, just based on this nose shadow here, which I think is a little too hard, and the expression on her face. I hope that helps. I hope that helps. I want to. Oh, that's her pick. Try to talk her out of it. That's her pick. Try to talk her out of it. Oh my word. Sam McCrae, I'm glad you're here in chat while I'm looking at these photos for you, my guy. Sam says, 2 women I met on the top of a mountaintop and some landscapes from Canada Day. Inspired by the black and white episode. Let's go. Wow, Sam. Jeez, man. This is great. Really great. The black sky. This is aces. These clouds. Amazing. The texture here and the placement. The light on her face. The outfit. I mean, you have no control over the outfit, but that subject and that placement is just aces, Sam. Like, you should be thrilled with this. Getting a portfolio picture from strangers. Like, this is Outdoor Magazine. Look at that as a cover. Like, this is mental. Be very happy with this. Very happy. By the way, guys, if you want to have your photos reviewed, you got to join the Discord. It's super easy to join. Just check the video description of the video you're watching right now or any of my videos, and you can find the Discord link. Like Sam has done, and Julie has done, and Leslie, my brother, has done, and Hervé has done. All right, let's look at photo number 2. Yeah, what a great group to shoot, Sam. Wow. Listen, this black sky thing is something that really is working with your photography, my guy. Like, this is killer. Like, yes or yes, it's really working, and I'm hoping that I'm glad that the black and white episode inspired you. Look at that sky. Look at that contrast. You're on some Ansel Adams stuff right now, Sam. I love it. Love it, love it, love it. That's photo 2 from Sam. Photo number 3. Great wind-blown, wind-swept kind of a feeling. I kind of like how you biased the clouds and made the clouds and this sky like such a priority of this composition. Biasing her like in the bottom right gives you great space for text here and great space for a masthead up here. Like, it's actually quite cool, and it's the full frame. So if you crop down to 8x10 or 9x12, you'd be totally fine. This is a banger, Sam. Like, you hit it out of the park here, honestly. And then he says some of his own landscapes, again, based on that episode. Sam's hitting it out of the park. There's no need for me to put my camera on for this one. I just want you to take this in. Just take this in. Sam, what is happening in this photo? Just incredible. Incredible, 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 incredible work, Sam. I love, like, love, 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 love. You're getting 3 loves. And another. This is so frameable. This is frameable work. I would love to see this, like, above a couch. You know, like in that all white room or a dark room. Like, this is heavy. Very, very, very strong work. Needs to be on a wall or in a book. Definitely in your portfolio, Sam. Wow. Whew. Wow. And our last one. Sam, this is like Sam's last photo and our last submission of the day, guys. Look at this. Like, look at that sunset. Look at those clouds. Like, this obviously had to be in color because of the nuance of the clouds. Oh, look at that color. Look at that. But also, I would love to see what this looks like in black and white. Sam, this is so good. So good. Guys, trying to help you unlock your photo superpowers. I got to tell you, I've been like nervous for my episodes lately. I can't even explain it other than like, you know, I'm so on the verge of like breaking through with this YouTube channel, but at the same time, like I get so nervous before I record a video, before I podcast, like more nervous than I ever have been before. So I appreciate you all for being here and hanging out with me and dealing with me while I'm going through these like suddenly like YouTube nerves after a year of being on the platform. It's like I do so much research, it's almost like I get in my head. You know, it's almost like I'm gonna stop doing research. Guys, if you like these type of episodes, hit the like button. It helps me. If you forgot to hit the like button, go hit the like button back on old videos because that helps me a lot too. I also put out content like a machine 3 times a week. If you have content on my channel you haven't seen, like go watch something. That's definitely helpful. It helps you, it helps me. And of course, I'm trying to gather a tribe of obsessive photographers that are literally single-minded and wanting to get better at photography. I want you to be a part of the crew. So please consider subscribing if you think that you're one of those obsessed photographers like we are. And also just your photography superpowers unlock every time you look through the camera. Every time you think about photography, every time you rinse and repeat, every time you use themes, every time you shoot multiple days in a row, you're unlocking your photography superpowers. You have to stay with that because you know you can actually lock your photography superpowers by not shooting photos, by letting weeks go by without picking your camera up. It ends up building a bridge between you and your camera. It ends up blocking your creativity. So know that the best way to be a superstar photographer is to show up and shoot photos. And you get better every time you do that. Guys, thank you so very much for watching. We'll see you on Thursday. Keep shooting. There's an assignment pending. Go do that. Thanks everybody for watching. I appreciate you all.